Okay, so in this video we're going to cover exceptions, try, catch, and the using statement and disposal. Alright, so try catches work, much like they do in Java. So let's say we have a var list equals new list int, and we'll just leave it at that. So let's try to access list sub 0. We don't have anything in the list. We'll say var x equals list sub 0. Okay, so we make an assignment. We want to catch an exception, exception e. We will write, console.writeLine. We'll do e.stackTrace so we can get a little information. And we will do finally, just to show, just to review, console.writeLine. And remember, I always run. Finally runs no matter if an exception has been run or not. So whether we, do this catch or we don't do this catch, we're always going to run finally. Now let's just see how this works out here. So see, it threw an exception, argument out of range exception, and we caught it, and the finally always runs. And you'll see that if we don't do anything illegal, the finally will still run. See, I always run. Not lying. Okay. We can also filter by exceptions. So we could catch an IO exception, and we could just catch we could catch all the rest of the exceptions. And we could print the stack trace in this case. Actually, we'll print the stack trace in that case, and we'll say console.writeLine catch everything. And you'll see, catch everything. I always run. Because it's not an IO exception, we get this exception here. Now, if we decide to explicitly throw one, throw a new IO exception, we'll see that we get our stack trace. So we can do exception filtering, which is quite handy. Now, let's just do a simple example where we write to a file. Of course, we don't want to catch everything all the time. So let's create a text writer. Writer equals file.create text, and we'll just say file.txt. Okay. So the text writer class allows us to write to a file. Now if we do writer.writeLine, and we'll say hello. Okay, so the text writer, it'll open up that file, and we'll see I always run. Now let's open the text writer. So let's go over here to our project. We'll right-click it, and down towards the bottom we'll open the folder and file explorer. So I'll bring that over here. Okay, so in case you've never looked at the project hierarchy before, here's the desktop. Here we go, test. Here's our solution file. This is what this corresponds to in Visual Studio, all right? And each project is put in its own little folder. See, csproj, that refers to this. And you can see all of our other stuff is here. Bin, we're on debug, as you can see up here. So this is where our executable is actually put. And as you can see, this is the directory that it creates the file, since we don't specify an absolute path. So the problem is, the file writer is still accessing the file at this point. What we want to do is we want to close the file. It hasn't actually written to the file yet. We'd have to wait for it to close. So in the finally, what we're going to do is we're going to do writer.dispose. And let's delete. I'm going to go back quick, and I'm going to delete that file so it doesn't say, hey, it already exists. So again, bin debug file. Just delete that real quick. Okay. I always run. And if we look, we're at the console.read key. It's been disposed. And if we open file, see, it wrote hello this time, because we properly disposed it. Now, you might say, yeah, that's how I do it in Java. Not thrilled about it. And, I'd be inclined to agree. Try, catch, finally, all that, that's all gross. We can shorten this down a lot in C# as per typical C# fashion. We can use a using block. So in here we say using, and we'll say text writer equals file.create text file.txt. And we'll leave this up here for now so we can see, how small it is. And we'll say writer.writeLine hello from using. And what'll happen is this basically expands to this. It makes sure it adds a finally that disposes everything inside of the using statement no matter what. So if we look, and this will probably didn't give us an IO exception. That's probably good. So that'll dispose it no matter what. Now we open in File Explorer. Let's see if we can make it mad by keeping it open. Nope. FileWriter's just content to do its own thing. That's good. If we had an IO exception thrown in here, what would happen is it would, it wouldn't catch it, but it would do a finally. And that's really all that there is to using. Whenever you have something that implements iDisposable, always throw it in a using to make sure that it's always, disposed of properly. And that's about it.